You know, there really isn't more that frustrates me and just quite frankly ticks me right off than seeing stuff like this. This 20 years ago, this it really wouldn't have meant anything to me. As a kid in high school, or just not really understanding life, not understanding money, not understanding business, investing. It just really wouldn't have had an impact on me. However, Lebanon here, this headline to devalue currency by 90% on February 1st, which this happened last week. The central bank chief says so. If the central bank was doing its job, that wouldn't have to happen. However, this is what we miss though. We must understand that, and we're going to do it right here. The creature from Jekyll Island. If you want to understand what is actually going on, then and only then, will you understand the name of the game is bailouts. That's it. The creature from Jekyll Island, right here. Go get this book, read it immediately. Listen to it on Audible. I don't have an Amazon affiliate link for you or whatever. Just go get this book immediately. Understand exactly what's happening, the origins of the Federal Reserve, and why it exists. The Federal Reserve is the root of all evil. And then, while you're at it, get these 3 books as well. Get Ron Paul's book and the Fed. But get The Fourth Turning, get The Sovereign Individual. You have to understand, and I will say this, Capitalist Manifesto, Economics in One Lesson, phenomenal book. Capitalist Manifesto is probably one of the best books I've ever read, with the most amount of quotes from communists, from collectivists I've ever seen in my life. It's going to blow you away at how we are run and how backwards we are as a society. People think we have capitalism. We haven't had capitalism since the Federal Reserve was created by Woodrow Wilson and drafted into, not created by him, but passed by his administration, during his administration. Is created by a number of people, central bankers, the Rothschild types, Warburg family, the central banking families that have nothing but their own interest at heart. Not your interest, their own interest. So please go check these books out. Absolutely have to go check these books out, because this is going to tell you everything you need to know about why this is happening. So let's jump into this really quick. But this is not, like I said, nothing ticks me off more than people not understanding this and what's going on, and just the complete theft that is going on through central banking, and then aided by governments. A 90% devaluation from its current official rate that has remained unchanged for 25 years, which is pretty amazing in itself. But a lot of currencies, as we know, fiat currencies really last usually about 20 to 40 years. That's generally, at least per Mike Maloney, that's generally how long they last. We had ours, since we had 1913, then we had in the 30s, we had the Executive Order 6102. So we had about 20 years, 25 years of the Federal Reserve being there, and then we had a revaluation. We had about a 90%, I guess, again, right? Because we had the dollar went from worth a $20, or $20 in one gold piece was worth $20, and then it went to $35. So we basically lost you gained double your wealth if you just held your gold and didn't give it to the government. You gained double, basically, or 90% more in wealth, and you lost a lot of wealth if you gave your gold to the government. So right there, America's done it. So that was 100, almost 100 years ago. We've had it in America. We had 1944 Bretton Woods, that a new monetary system basically again. Then in 64 we had the metals coming out of the coins. That's another type of soft default monetary system reset in essence. 1971, the gold coming out of the dollar. So there's no link at all to actual money connected to gold. Currency, I guess, no link to actual currency to the money. Money is gold, silver, Bitcoin, something that has to have a store of value. Money, at the end of the day, the biggest thing it has to have is be a store of value. That's the root characteristic it has. People medium exchange, it's got to be portable and all those things. Yeah, it helps. That's great. But store of value is the one quality you must have to be a money. There's a lot of things that could be used as money, but if it doesn't have a store of value as a characteristic of it, then how can it be money? It's not. It's just a currency. Portability and medium exchange, things like that. Those are currency features. Just like, Bitcoin wasn't out to create a new PayPal. We already have PayPal. We already have Visa. We already have digital dollars. We don't need a CBDC slave coin. We don't need a blockchain, pseudo whatever. We already have these things. We already have them in banks right now. What Bitcoin is set out to take out is the central bank's reign and theft over all people and their wealth, their time and their energy, right? We are talking about wealth and you have to, money is a store, an economic container for your storing your time and energy. You go to work every day, spending time and energy, and you store it in something you hope is going to be finite and not lose that time and energy, not have it sucked away through printing of currency, devaluation, 90% devaluation of your wealth, etc. This is what happened in America many times. This is what happened in Lebanon. This is what happened in Venezuela, Argentina, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, the pound. You go on and on. Japan in the last 30 years. This goes on and on and on. The Weimar Republic. It's going to happen more and more and more going forward because we've printed ourselves into oblivion. They've typed more digits into computers, stolen wealth, a fraction of every fiat currency unit in existence from all the citizens, and then they get poorer and poorer and poorer, and then they get more, we'll say, revolty as that time goes on, right? They get more polarized, they get more divisive, they dislike their government more, they dislike each other more, and then they come after people. People come after each other because they don't know why. Most people don't understand why. They just see ad hominem attacks on Twitter by people like Nina Turner or Robert Reich, the former labor secretary, these people that literally don't have much intelligence going on. There's not much going on in here. All they know how to do is incite followers and engagement on social media platforms and engage the algorithm and just say ad hominem attacks like no person should go without health care. No person should have under $20 of an hour of wage. That shouldn't be controversial. And then you just get a million people being like, you're an idiot. You're so smart. Like, that's amazing. They're just great engagement farmers, but it doesn't provide any value to society because then we still have these things happen. And then the same things happen over and over again, which is the remedy, which is we highlighted here. This one was really interesting too. The pound has lost some 97% of value since it began to split from the rate it had in 2019. Just in 3 years, it lost 97% of its value. Again, like we say all the time, the dollar's done that in the last 100 years. It'll do it again over the next decade or two. And if you don't believe me, just watch the next bailout to happen. We went from billions in in '08, and then we went to trillions over the next 10 years, and now we've got it's going to be quadrillions eventually. So it was at trillions. Now we're going to have probably 10 trillion. They say minimum the next bailouts. We just had like multiple 2, 3 trillion bailouts. There's going to be just 10, 12, 9, $15 trillion bailouts. So then what? Then where's our debt at? Right? We talk about our debt all the time, right? So here's our debt. So where is this going to be? If we keep just boom, $5 trillion a year debt. So this is our total debt, and then you have our yearly deficit here. That'll be at $5 trillion. That'll be at $4 trillion. Why not? And the government's not doing anything. People wonder how you get here, right? So let's talk about how they get here a little bit. So the change to the 15,000 was a step towards unifying multiple exchange rates. Yeah, in line with a draft agreement. Here's some of the best stuff. In a draft agreement, Lebanon reached with the International Monetary Fund last year and set out conditions to unlock a $3 billion bailout. So I wonder who the International Monetary Fund, another good book you have to read is Confession of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. So this is interesting. El Salvador says, we're in a Bitcoin standard. We're not doing this game anymore. We're not going to be the insane person. There's a great speech by Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, the other day, saying this very thing. Literally said, why would we do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? That's what an insane person does. So we're going to continue getting in bed with IMF, and they're going to steal our resources. They're going to lock us into all these different terms they have to have, and then they'll give us the fiat currency to bail ourselves out. This is why these countries can't be trusted. This is why all these countries, it's hard to do business with them because no one trusts them because they have faulty money. They have a house built on sand, not a house built on rock. This is exactly what El Salvador is doing. And over the next decade, people are going to see when you build your house on monetary rock, you can do anything. But if you built it on monetary sand, well, then you're stuck in purgatory. You're stuck in the Triffin dilemma of the world reserve currency being the dollar, which is what Lebanese people have to try to use all the time. You're stuck in this world where you have to use the dollar. You're trying to use the Lebanese pounds you have to find dollars to then use those dollars to go buy actual things of value or whatever, right? So this is the clown world we live in, and people just well, I'm going to keep going to the IMF. The IMF has favored an immediate unification of rates and has said the Lebanese authorities should deal upfront with an estimated $70 billion in financial sector losses. Now, let's see if this reigns true here as well. Does this sound familiar? Widely viewed, these losses as a result of decades of profligate spending, corruption, and mismanagement. That doesn't sound like America, at least. Are you kidding me? I mean, we got 10% for the big guy here. We got money going to Solyndra. We're running gun running schemes here 10 years ago, Operation Fast and Furious, trying to frame, lawfully abiding citizens here. That's through our DOJ. We have corruption out our eyeballs. We have the Confessions of an Economic Hitman. We have just Ukraine in general going on, Ukraine and Russia. We also have the Chinese. We got Iran nuclear deals going on. We got pallets. Obama's sending hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, I believe it was, or is it 400 million? I can't remember, 400 billion, sending over on pallets, cash, just on pallets in what, C-17s and C-5 Galaxies, just like, hey, incoming, coming in hot, guys, got your pallets of cash. I mean, I guess whatever it is, it's just cash. It's not really worth much at the end of the day anymore anyway. This is just clown world, and so we're doing the same things. Some of these countries are just further down the road than America is, and America is the world reserve currency, so it's going to generally be last in this domino line. We see Sri Lanka, the pound. This is Argentina and Brazil trying to get together because these countries are collapsing, and this is what happens. Your monetary system resets. IMF deal has widely been seen is the only way Lebanon can begin to restore confidence in its financial system and recover from the collapse. So we just literally said, no one's going to keep doing business with you because now you're on the hook with the IMF. You're at their mercy. You still have a worthless piece of paper that you're using as your currency. So who's going to do deals with you? How is that the only way? Life is not black and white. It's not binary choices. There's a billion choices. Brazil and Argentina are saying, hey, we should partner up together. I think Jack Dorsey or Elon Musk saying they should go into Bitcoin standard. The Coinbase CEO, Brian Armstrong, saying they should probably go into Bitcoin standard, Argentina and Brazil. And here we are like, oh, I'm going to go back to the IMF. You literally can hook up within a couple of minutes, be on a Bitcoin standard. That's literally all it takes. That's it. And a little imagination, a little ingenuity. A government could do it very easily because they are the government. They set their own rules. They set their own law. They can follow whatever laws they want, for crying out loud, unless people actually do something about it, which is not really what people do anymore, holding their governments accountable. So what's stopping you from being on a hard money standard and increasing your wealth? Now the government's got more wealth because their citizens have more wealth, and now they're becoming wealthier and paying more taxes to the government, and the government has more money. This is just absolute clown world. And then, again, like we've talked about recently, like bonds, the whole bond market in itself. And again, I haven't had anyone, and maybe I'm missing something, but is the bond market not a Ponzi in and of itself? I mean, you're not, us sending, giving money to the government and getting bonds in return. Like, what is the government? The government just basically saying, yeah, I promise to tax other people or you in the future and then pay you back. That's a bond. The government doesn't produce anything. I don't know what I'm missing here. The exchange rate is not expected to ease one of the most debilitating aspects of the crisis for ordinary Lebanese, the inability to freely access their dollar savings. So again, like we just said, they got to find more pounds now just to access the dollar, to then use the dollar to go find other things of value, to actually purchase something. You could have Bitcoin and then done. There's no exchange rates, there's no nothing. There's just, you have Bitcoin. What is this worth in Bitcoin? Oh, cool, great. It cost me 5,000 Satoshis to buy this Reese's candy bar. Great, everywhere in the world, global money, boom, done. There's none of this exchange rate, none of this garbage, none of this trying to do this. An instant, done. Final settlement, changing. Like, I wonder how many people in Lebanon are unbanked or underbanked, don't have a bank account, can't have a bank account. I bet it's a fair amount of people. Not a problem with Bitcoin. This is absolutely incredible. 2019, they've imposed, in 2019, imposed their own controls, severely limiting withdrawals in dollars and Lebanese pounds. Again, doesn't happen on a Bitcoin standard. No one can tell you what to do, what you can or can't do. This is what happens when you're in a fiat inflationary standard. As Jeff Booth says, when dollars or fiat currency is scarce, I should say it the other way. When currency is abundant, then goods and services are scarce. And when money is scarce, true money, sound money, when Bitcoin or gold and silver, when that's scarce, money is scarce, then goods and services are abundant. It's just a completely different world. We haven't lived in it forever. People still are being taught for the last 50 years that socialism and collectivism is the way to go, when that's what absolutely destroyed us. It's destroyed all governments. It's destroying everything. This is socialism. These defaults in devaluing everything, these are constructs of socialism and central banking. Central banking, again, go back, please, 9 months ago, we did the Communist Manifesto and the tenets of the Communist Manifesto. And in there, 2 of the 10 points are progressive income tax. Boom, we got it here in America. And central banking. Boom, we got it. We've got it all around the world. Central banking is the ill. It's the plague. It is the plague that is plaguing the world. fiat inflationary system. Everyone uses fiat currencies linked to the dollar, which is backed by nothing, just a fiat currency as well. So there's no reality tethering us to gravity. There's no reality, because it's just whatever we want it to be. It's just constantly floating exchange rates, right? You hear that, floating interest rates, everything. It's a complete farce. This doesn't happen on a Bitcoin standard, on hyper Bitcoinized world. Please get this video out. This is probably the most important thing there is right now. This is such an unbelievable example juxtaposing El Salvador and what's happening there, the growth, to Lebanon and what's happening. Absolutely mind-blowing. The simulation is giving us this example. It truly is amazing. So please share this out. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please let me know your thoughts on this. I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. The only two finite assets we have are Bitcoin and time. Time is Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.